Hello, welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, episode number 90. Yep, 90 episodes of this particular review series. Yep, so this episode is basically just covering newest episode of the anime. Welcome to Bocchan Restaurant. Okay, the episode starts off with the Junior Detective League just playing at a park, and then Ami decides to she hears some meowing. It's a cat on the bench, and it's been beaten up. And it's been, it's got, abused. I don't know what the significant at this point, when I see it a little bit later in the episode, it's got two broken legs. And plus, they found two pieces of string in its claws, which Conan holds on to. Doesn't tell what happens next. And then they take the kitty to the hospital, because, can't leave the kitty out here out in the open while it's injured. Takes to the hospital. Doctor has no problem taking care of it. I wonder who's paying the medical bill. It's probably going to be Conan, because I'm sure he can afford it. I don't know if the kids can afford it, but I'm sure that they probably don't have much of a problem, basically, for a group of kids bringing a stray cat that was injured, because, it's an animal hospital. So, and then just by sheer coincidence, some police cars just happen to drive by, and they go to the murder restaurant, where they run into Mori. Yep, because he's there. And because he's there, also, Maguire and Takagi are here. The reason why? Because a body has been found in this lake at this murder restaurant. And everybody's dressed in, and they meet the employees of the place. We're all dressed in mostly what looks like about 19th century garb. And it turns out they're just basically actors, who also is the servers, in a murder mystery play. And it turns out later on, for this particular portion, that the characters they play are completely different from how they portray in the original novel. Like, one woman who's actually a very beautiful woman is a wrestler. And one guy says he has the strongest justice. He has no sense of justice in the book. Yeah, one guy is a crybaby, even though he's a really strong one. Yeah. And there are two murders, two deaths in this episode. First of which is Uzuki, which they keep showing his body a lot, which is a little more than usual when they show dead bodies. Usually once or twice-ish. But never to the point where I'm not sure why the anime decided this for, but they kept showing the wound, how he died a lot. A big humongous stab wound to his shoulder, which that apparently killed him. Yeah. So after talking to everybody, it turns out that the owner of the place, along with the murder victim, had a thing for her. She had no idea that two men basically were fighting each other over her affections. Now, other one might find that to be interesting, to say the least, where two guys fight over a one woman's affections. Heck, it's kind of a similar thing I've seen in anime where two women fight over the same guy, and the guy finds it hilarious. Or he's like, I'm such a lucky guy. But not the case here. Nope. She had no idea about it, and they are basically, these employees took their jobs for various reasons. Like, one guy took it to get back his dead mother. The woman took it basically to pay tribute to her sister. I think this is supposed to be the receptionist. She was casted purely based upon appearance, because, why not cast no lady? And it's quite an interesting set of stuff they do this episode. A lot of development for this place. And then, basically, even though they don't have enough evidence, Maury suspects it's the red shirt guy. It really isn't. And then they come back the very next day, and the guy is dead. Hanging from a tree. Yep. Now, they kind of wrap this up as suicide. Conan thinks it might be murder disguised as suicide. That's what him and the group thinks. But they don't have enough evidence to prove it. And then they go back to the park where the whole thing started. And they find, and of course they do this raft. They stop by the animal hospital, where it turns out the kitty basically is just had two broken legs and some other bruises, but it's going to be fine. And they find the place where the cat was injured. And it turns out the first murder was not committed at the restaurant, but actually at the park. And it's also the guy, the person who killed it, though they don't really sure who it is, the culprit decides to also be the one to beat up the cat by kicking it repeatedly. Yes, who the murderer is, who knows? Find out next week. It's an interesting episode. I'm definitely looking forward to next week. It has me interested to say the least. This is a lot different than a lot of the usual typical episodes, and at least it's not, just, of course, the number of suspects is a little bit more than usual, because usually the most we have for murder suspects in a single, even the filler episodes, maybe about 3 or 4. There's about 10 suspects for this one. Yeah, it's also revealed that the murder victim, even though he was kind of strict in how he basically did this thing, that's kind of the strange thing that came to this series. On a rare occasion, the murder victim actually is a saint. A lot of the time, the murder victim is pretty much a terrible person. Yeah, that's the way that it usually depicts in the series. But this one, it seems like that there's like two sides to him. Like he's a mixture of good and bad. But he was killed first, then of course the owner was killed. Of course, next week it looks like it might be the conclusion to this particular two-parter. I'm hoping that soon they might get to the next canon arc, which is simply the return of the Kato Kid, which I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so in case you're wondering, is there any new chance to release manga this week? No, there isn't. The next chapter is released next month. No joke. We have to wait next month. Basically, Zero's Tea Time is basically being published right now, while the series is on break. Yeah, it does this. Where it's on break for about a month or two at most. At least not like Hunter x Hunter, where it's on break now for almost 2 years. Yep. But yeah, not much else to say about this. Really good episode. Definitely looking forward to next. Keep me interested. First time in a little while that the Junior Detective League isn't featured in the episode. Yes, even Ami. It's quite interesting to see her in the episode, because for her it's been almost even longer, because she doesn't really show up very much in the series. And this is only episode 981. I think the last time she showed up in the series was probably in the second to last canon case of the series. Not the Bunny Club one. Nope, it was probably the third to last one, which was the Search for Maori-chan. That was probably the last time I can think of to show up in a canon case. But it's been a while for her, but it's always great to see the character. Even though a character's not been developed in a while. I mean, has the character been developed? No. I would say it's been a while since the character has been developed. If I think of one character who's probably been developed in a while, it's probably the other 3 members. Mitch, George, and Amy. These 3 have not been developed in quite some time. It seems as though for these 3, George gets very rarely in character development. Amy, basically, they used to have this thing in the series where we have these her and Conan moments, which they apparently stopped that after a while. I would think the last time they had one of these was the second book club case, where Conan basically saved her from some falling books, which was quite nice. But I don't know if that's considered a Conan Amy moment. But yeah, that's it for this. There's nothing much to say with this episode. Definitely looking forward to next week. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. My next video I'm hopefully going to put up is going to be the first of 3 videos for Death March to a Parallel World Rhapsody. Yep. It'll be up soon, okay? Do this next video. Bye.